This happened to me during my freshman year of college, and I was visiting my friend Catherine. She lived in a girls' dorm at the time. Being underage, we spent our night smoking pot and goofing off in her room with her next door neighbor and another girl, Danielle, who had also gone to high school with Catherine and I. The night was typical until Catherine's roommate joined us. She had just come back from the shower and said, "You guys have to come with me. There's a girl singing in the showers, and she has the most beautiful voice." Having nothing else to do, we obliged, and just as she said, there was the most lovely singing coming from one of the showers. There were 20 or so showers lined up on 2 walls, but only one of them had water running. There were also no speakers or ventilation system to be seen except for the drains on the floor. The point of this detail is to tell you that although there was a single shower going with the curtain closed, there was no one in that shower stall or any of the other ones. We looked and looked, and all the while this girl is still singing beautifully, the voice reverberating from that one shower. Upon realization, all of us looked at each other, utterly spooked. A moment later, Danielle darted out of the bathroom as fast as a champion sprinter. The rest of us followed her a few seconds later, though not at a run. Upon reaching the dorm room, we found Danielle sitting on the bed shaking and chain-smoking with an ashtray in front of her. We pressed her as to why she ran. "That's Tracy's voice. She always used to sing," she said. "She's been following me around. I saw her at the creek the other day for just a second, and then she disappeared. I swear that was her voice." Tracy was in our junior high school class with us, but she died in a hiking accident the summer before our senior year. During my college years, I found out that most dorms in my university were haunted in one way or another. One dorm in particular stands out because it used to be a hospital. To this day, a nurse's station greets visitors at the entrance, while the double doors leading out from the hallway are made to open to the left and right. A friend of mine was staying there, and in the middle of the semester started saying that she was going to move out. When I asked her why, she said that several nights for the past few weeks, all of the girls in the room, herself included, would all wake up at the same time in the middle of the night, at 3 a.m. Her roommates would also swap stories about seeing a shadowy figure at their window at night. The figure never moved, just stayed there, arms crossed and looking in on them. Another friend in another dorm on campus kept telling us stories about how someone always knocked on the door of their room in the middle of the night. 3 sharp knocks, no more, no less. And every time they opened the door, there would be no one outside or even in the hallway. This friend also freaked out because once she went home for the weekend. When she came back to the dorm the next day, one of her roommates saw her and kidded, "You were totally knocked out last night, and I was trying to wake you up because I bought dinner for you and our other roommates." The roommate got the shock of her life when my friend said that she was at home for the weekend and she wasn't at the dorm. Note, this dorm in particular has a lot of stories about doppelgangers. A popular ghost story or urban legend on campus tells the story of a girl who was packing her stuff and leaving for the semestral break. She saw a note posted on the door of her roommate's closet. "Please lock my cabinet when you leave." Thinking nothing of it, she locked the closet door and left the dormitory. She found out the next semester that her roommate had died inside the closet. She was inside when she left the note for her roommate to find and had starved and suffocated herself in the closet over the break. I went to college in Savannah, Georgia as a hard skeptic, to come out as a total believer. Fun fact, my dorm was formerly a coffin factory. That's how weirdly macabre this little city can be. I had many ghost stories from that city in my 4 years there, but I'll tell you one that still gives me the creeps to this day. One night in my dorm, I woke up around 2 a.m. and I needed to use the bathroom. As I went across the hall to go, I saw someone at the corner of my eye coming out from their room and started walking towards the other bathroom on that side. I didn't think much of it and thought it was my dorm mate who just happened to go at the same time. She tends to stay up really late to finish assignments. I did my business and started to walk back, only to see her walking back like me. I turned to look and wave at her, but stopped dead in my tracks, and so did this person. This girl was not my dorm mate. She had red hair, pale features, and she was wearing this large t-shirt that covers her down to her knees. What's extremely eerie was the fact she stopped at the same time when I turned to look at her, but she wasn't looking at me. She was looking right towards the room where my dorm mate would be. I started to wonder if the door leading to the bathroom had opened to begin with. I got tense and quickly went into my room to shut the door and lock it. It took me a moment, and I decided it was just late night fogs and I imagined it, or it was a friend of hers. However, my door started to violently shake. Someone was trying to open the door in a hurry. I was startled and I called out to my dorm mate if that was her. No answer. I decided to open the door to see that no one was there. I felt freaked out, of course, but I just wanted to think it was just my mind playing tricks on me, them playing a prank, or I was just fatigued. I eventually went back to sleep, but I was awoken again by something unknown. I felt something wasn't right. I was about to turn my lamp back on until I saw something at the corner of my eye again, and it was in front of my door in my room. Obviously, I was scared now, and I thought it was a good idea to look right at where I supposedly saw someone, and I did. It was the same girl, staring at me, and she had these terrifying, sad pit black eyes. I yelled in shock and switched on the lamp to find her gone right after. It wasn't long until my dorm mate in my hall came out and asked if I was okay. I was confident enough to tell her what I saw, but she didn't know what to think. I couldn't go back to sleep that night. Later, I decided to ask my dorm mate across the hall about what happened. When I described it to her, she immediately froze and she looked a little scared herself. She told me, "I saw her too. To be honest, I did some research on my own about any significant hauntings in our dorms. I found a case where a female student committed suicide in my room where I stay in. Sadly, there are cases of students committing suicide notoriously so every year attending this college. To this day, it makes the hairs from the back of my head stand just thinking about it. But I do hope that the spirit finds peace." I'm getting ready to complete my second and last year of living in Morse Hall, one of my dormitories at my college. Before moving here, I had never heard about any ghost stories or other strange happenings. After moving in, I started hearing stories of students who have died naturally, accidentally, or by suicide, and that Morse Hall has quite a reputation for being haunted. Before I explain any experiences or stories, I should probably explain the layout of the building. It is divided into 5 sections: Northeast, Abigail, Central, where I reside, South, and Southeast. Northeast, Abby, and Central have hallways that connect them together, but South and Southeast are separated from them, except the hallway on the ground level. There is an elevator in Northeast, Central, and Southeast, and there used to be one in Abigail. The shaft is now boarded up. Now that you have an idea of how the building is laid out, I am going to tell you about my experiences and the strange occurrences. First, the Abigail elevator shaft used to be in operation. Apparently, one night, a drunken football player threw himself down it. It has been said that you can hear a banging sound coming from inside the shaft. I've walked by this many times, but have never heard anything strange. Also, I heard about a basketball player either dying in a car accident or by suicide. I was told she lived on the 4th floor of Northeast. She is said to dribble her basketball down the hallway of the 4th floor, Northeast, Abbey, and Central. She is said to dribble her basketball down the hallway of the 4th floor at night, and nobody on the 4th floor can hear her, but the floors below can. I lived on the 4th floor last year and never heard a sound. This year, I live on the 2nd floor and I've heard what sounds like a basketball on numerous nights. Then, there are stories of students supposedly committing suicide in the closets of Abigail, which honestly wouldn't surprise me considering the size of the closets, which are the largest in the building. A couple of my friends were watching a movie in one of the Abigail closets, and they said they saw a face in the wall. Then, there's the bathroom in-ground Abigail. People report hearing strange noises coming from below the sink, like pipes being unscrewed. I've heard this, but I always dismiss it thinking it really could just be the pipes, especially considering the age of the building. So, here are the rest of my experiences. When I used to live in 4th Central, strange things would always happen in my room. I would hear the sound of things dropping above my ceiling. I was on the top floor, so it wasn't like somebody lived in a room above me and was dropping things on their floor. Also, posters would suddenly fall down out of nowhere. It wasn't like the wind blew them down or anything, because the window would be shut and they wouldn't come down slowly. They would come down like somebody was actually tearing them down. The door to the room would move quite a bit too. It would sound as if wind was blowing it back and forth, but the window would be shut and there was no window across from the room. There would also be strange noises in the room, along with things falling from shelves or in closets when nothing was touching them. Then, orbs would show up in quite a few of the pictures I would take in the room. I'm not a strong believer in orbs since they could easily be dust or whatnot. Anyway, this year I haven't been experiencing as much as I did in the old room. I have heard the sound of a basketball dribbling at night. My posters have also fallen down mysteriously, but that's pretty much it.